they fingerprinted me, they automatically received the notification. So they asked me why I was arrested, and I wasn't going to lie to them. I did advise them it was for allegedly a weapons charge. So they wanted to know more about the incident, which supposedly took place in 2019. And I advised them I have no idea of what they're talking about. So after that, they said, all right, no problem. 2 weeks later, I got another email advising me that they needed to have another conference call. At the conference call, I advised them the same thing. Their allegations, I have no idea what they're talking about. Now, I also obtained a criminal attorney for this situation. So everything I told them the first time, I repeated the second time, which I couldn't give them any information that I don't have myself. They felt I was not cooperating. March 17th, I received the email advising me that I was going to be put on an administrative suspension. And I asked them why they felt I was not cooperating. They said, once I receive more information in regards to my case, I can give it to them, or once the case has been settled. And I said, but this situation has nothing to do with my job, and I really don't know what's going on. So they said, again, until we receive more information or the end of the case, you will remain on administrative suspension. Okay, fine. My attorney was in contact with them. They basically stated the same thing to him. Now, last week, Wednesday, 4 months later, I received an email from them telling me that I was terminated, basically for the same reason that I was placed on suspension for. Can they do that? I have two letters. I have the first letter stating I would remain on administrative suspension. And I'm just confused and I'm bothered by this. I've been with them for 10 years. No disciplinary action in my folder whatsoever. They advised me that's the reason why they placed me on suspension. Can they write me a letter and then also verbally tell me I would stay on suspension and then fire me because of the same reason? And mind you, I recorded our phone calls.
Okay.
I didn't want to get too much into it. So,
Right. Understood. Anybody have questions that they want to ask?
I don't do any employment law, but is this a union or a non-union job?
My job is non-union, only because the part of the hospital that I work in is Nassau. The union side is more located in Queens.
Have you spoken to an employment lawyer regarding
I'm trying to find one. And I'm having a hard time. The ones that I reached out to haven't called back. The one that I did speak to was a friend of my criminal lawyer, and he said it basically sounds like they did everything by the book, that he could write a letter for me, but he just does not know. But again, I'm just curious as to how can they really terminate me for something they wrote to me in a letter, and in our conversations stated that I would stay on suspension until the outcome of the case, or I can provide them information that will, let me be able to come back to work.
I'm sorry, I can't put my video on. I'm not in a place, but I wanted to ask you, I missed, did you say that you were a union member or not?
No, I'm not a union member.
Okay. And did you have any kind of employment agreement, any offer agreement or anything that you may have, initialed online or signed online when you started working for them or during the term?
Just the application in the beginning. And that was really it.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to talk to you further about it. I want to ask you some questions that, we should probably discuss privately.
Okay.
So I could put my number in the chat and you can call me tomorrow morning if you like.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay.
That's excellent. Let me just ask one other question. To your knowledge, has there ever been a similar situation where someone who may have been similarly situated to you had some disciplinary thing occur that they were not terminated for? That might have even potentially involved similar types of allegations that were made against you that were
No.
okay. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think overall it'll be great to follow up with Attorney Giordano.
Okay.
But you are right. It sounds like it does sound like that you are an at-will employee
Mhm.
with regard to this is a health center or a hospital or
It's a healthcare facility, a big one.
okay. So it sounds like you are an at-will employee. Obviously it would be good if you have access to it to make sure you give Attorney Giordano an opportunity to see if there was a employee handbook that
Mhm.
may be relevant to
Okay.
your situation, because again, the company at least would have to somewhat follow if
Okay.
there is a handbook and there are procedures in the handbook. While the procedures don't constitute a contract, they
Mhm.
generally have to at least follow those procedures if they're going to institute discipline, or they have to have a good reason why they're diverting from doing so. So all of that becomes important. Now, on the other hand, because it's a health facility and because the allegation obviously have been involved a use of possession of a weapon, then that obviously creates concerns for the employer. So I think in the absence of a deeper dive here with Giordano, I don't think there's much more that can be said about that now. But you certainly should explore it to make sure, in essence, that they dotted their I's and crossed their T's before they terminated you. And it was not a deviation of what their procedures may be in other situations, and certainly in similarly situated situations.
Okay, will do. Thank you so much.
All right. All right. Is Prakash with us? Or is Corey, is that you?
Yeah, my name's Corey. I wanted to see if I could speak.
Yes.
All right. So we're dealing with a situation right now in our property where the building owner has died and has been dead for some months now, since July of last year. And we had a couple squatters come in. You know how when someone dies, the family some people in the family show up and try to own stuff and say they own this. And they showed up, they assaulted us, they illegally collected rent for the first 3 months. We reached out to one of your attorneys and we wanted to file charges with Mr. Blum, but he has not yet filed charges. We've been asking him for a while. They recently had a claim there was a burglary in the building, in which they have no rights to the building. There's no legal judge transfer of ownership to these individuals. We see no ID from them. I was attacked by them. I have everything on video. I was in the ambulance and the police refused to make an arrest. Just today, they claimed that there was a break-in and they came to interview me. 3 detective cars claimed that I was the suspect, and these people have not been here for how long? They've abandoned the building. We've reached out to Street Corner Resource, Sister Aisha Sekou. They've reached out to the 33rd Precinct head, et cetera, et cetera. We have a disabled man in the building, and this disabled man was also attacked. He's blind, and he called 911, and they also refused to take a report. And this individual, this lady, and I have everything on video, and we sent it to the attorney. He hasn't filed any charges, and we've been asking him. And she even lied multiple times about working for the police, in which the third set of police officers had to actually look her up and come to the conclusion that she did not, which that is an actual crime. That's impersonating a police officer. So we just needed some help moving forward in terms of pressing charges and having these people arrested. for assault battery. They came in a couple weeks ago. They changed the locks out, and they did not tell anyone. And next thing you know, we call the police to let them know what they're doing. And the police say, oh, they can't do anything. They can't file a report if there's a break-in. They removed the locks off the building, I should say, and they left it wide open for people to run in and out. And they said, oh, since you don't own the building, you can't file a police report, which is absolutely a lie, because we reached out to our attorney after, and he said, no, that's a misdemeanor. And it's true, because if you witness somebody, your neighbor, getting their house robbed, you can call 911 and they'll take a report. So Officer Havisham and Officer Hernandez did refuse to take a report. I had them on video. There's just been a whole bunch of things going on. Her name is Christine Jordan, and I was attacked by her and a man here that came here of last year, and they refused to make an arrest. And now they're in here attempting to try and put me on trial or have my name. They have a false police report filed right now on a property in which they have no ownership, and they should have no access to. We've had HPD come out. They've reached out to them as well and told them that they do not own the property. And the city, since the owner who passed did not leave it to anyone, especially not to them, since she never invited them to the building within the 5 years we lived here when she was alive, they said that they will be taking it over, HPD, Housing Preservation Department. So we need some help going after these individuals who are out here scamming. They're like squatters. They're scamming. They're going around illegally collecting rent. We have seen no ID from them. So we needed some guidance on that. And if we can get some help filing charges.
Okay, let me just ask, so were you all were living in the building while the owner of the building was alive? And you were
correct. Yes, we were here for 5 years. Yes.
You were tenants. And did you have a lease?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So you had a lease, she passed away, and then these other people, relatives or whoever they may be, attempted to come
They're
in.
unknown people right now. Because we don't know who they are. They haven't given us ID or anything. We don't know who they. She told us her name's Christine Duncan, and she said Christine Duncan Jordan. She makes up all the time, and she lied to the police 3 times. And she smashed up all our stuff that was in the hallway, smashed it up. She wrote a letter a week before saying she was going to do it. She incriminated herself pretty much, and they're just letting her run scot-free. We don't know why. And she has no property or legal rights to the building, and the detectives took her report. It makes no sense.
Right. Okay. So again, I'm not sure who the attorney is that you're speaking to, but it seems like, Derek, it seems like we should at least follow up, because we can at least make some inquiries with the Queens District Attorney's Office to.
Yes, we're in Uptown Harlem-Wassa Heights area.
Oh, okay. The apartment is located where?
Harlem-Wassa Heights area.
So it's in Manhattan, not
yes,
Queens.
Correct. No,
okay.
We need the Manhattan district. That's what I've been trying to go to. And they said it's coronavirus, etc. But we need really serious help.
Okay, so
they're trying to arrest
Manhattan.
Yes, this is in Manhattan. We need some serious help.
Have you filed a complaint with the Civilian Complaint Review Board?
We've called police. We've gone to the precinct. We've had Sister Aisha Sekou even reach out to the head of the
you're not answering my question. The Civilian Complaint Review Board.
We don't know who that is, and they said that that's nothing to file with them. But we've even said Well,
the Civilian Complaint Review Board would investigate the police conduct.
Oh yes, absolutely. We have not done that yet. I would like to figure out how to do that. I never even knew that existed.
Yeah. So
our attorney didn't tell us anything about it.
So there's a Civilian Complaint Review Board. I think if you dial 311, they'll take it over the phone, or they used to be in person. I believe I think they moved to 100 Church Street, but you should Google Civilian Complaint Review Board and file a complaint against the investigation to your allegations. The fact that they are either burying your complaints or refusing to take it and not fully investigating it. It's an independent body that could investigate and do some work on that. Okay.
Yes, I see it right here now. Okay.
Right. But you're still in the building, right?
Correct. And I said, we went to the police.
No. Just stay with me for a sec. You're in the building. You had a pre-existing lease prior to the building owner passing away, correct?
Correct.
All right. And since that building owner passed away, you've now been subject to all types of harassment and other things with regard to the apartment.
Right.
Yeah. So for one, I don't, even if the property passed to a relative or somehow there was a sale that a legitimate sale that you were unaware of,
Right.
they cannot harass you, take harassment action against you, or evict you without going to court. So I'm
Correct.
assuming that you're not currently in landlord-tenant court
No,
in front
no,
of a
not at all.
judge. Yeah,
They don't own the building, so they can't do
Right.
that.
Yeah.
They filed something, but they did go online and download some, you can go online and download like template papers that landlords can fill out and then take it to a judge. They filled out some fictitious paperwork. They gave us a paperwork claiming that we owed like $14,000-$15,000.
Right. But
and then
the court rejected that or didn't accept that. Or
they didn't even submit it to the courts. They just they filled it out and handed it to us.
So, right. Yeah.
We didn't know what was going on because a couple of the tenants in the building actually have the state paying their rent. So when he came back, he realized that there were all these uncashed checks from the state waiting to be paid to the owner.
Yeah. So definitely seems like two things. One, you should connect here with Derek Perkinson so that he can help walk through the community assistance part with the Manhattan DA. That's number one. Number two, you said there's now an HPD contact. So yeah, you should definitely follow up with that. And again, maybe we can help you follow up with HPD, because it would seem as though if the person died intestate and there's no legitimate person or entity that now has actual ownership or title to the building, then all of that would have to get resolved through some, form of guardianship,
right?
Through HPD and the city and whatever. And certainly the tenants cannot be harassed, particularly tenants who were there. So, so follow up with Derek. You can let Derek know who the attorney is that you are working with, and we'll see if we can.
Yes, we definitely need some help with our attorney as well, because we got our attorney through you all here at National Action Network, and it's just nothing's been really filed in terms of criminal or anything like that assault on our behalf. So we just needed a little bit of assistance, and also going through the Manhattan district attorney and things of that sort. We were told by HPD that they will need put an administrator over the building, and we were advised to apply for the 7A administrator job, so possibly we can live here and actually oversee the building on behalf of the city when they do take it over, which would make it better, overall. So they're not having to keep coming out, and the people that live here can control the building.
Yeah.
You
definitely do that. I'm sorry,
Michael. I think you should also look up, just to make sure. There's a way to look up online who is the current owner of the property. And so you do a property.
Yes, we did that already. Our attorney did everything. Yep.
Okay. And is it still the estate?
Still the deceased individual, correct.
Okay. So you probably should write a letter to the, well, first of all, if you find out who the owner of the building is and where that person lived, you may want to check the surrogate court to see if there's an estate being administered.
Yes.
And if there's a lawyer on that estate, you should put them on notice and write a letter to that person as to all the things that are going on in the building, so that in the event, God forbid, something happens where somebody is injured, they're on notice.
Yes, I was injured. I was in the back of the ambulance, actually. I called the police, and the police were in the ambulance with me. And they refused to make an arrest. So that's the stuff that was really confusing to us right now. And they still continue to come back here and they claim someone broke in and they put me as the person who did it. And the former owner actually lived in the building in the basement part, the first floor, bottom part. And so they're deceased. And we had our attorney and HPD even looked up the surrogates court, and there's no surrogate anything. There's no probate going on. There's nothing. So they said that they're going to have to come in and take over the building.
Okay.
There was no
Yeah.
will left, it seems like.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Which is why they're also telling and encouraging you all that are in the building to submit the 7A application. And
Right, correct. Yep.
you know, because it could go in a tenant in possession type situation, which will be under the jurisdiction of HPD and so on and so forth. But again, follow up here again with Derek, and you know, we'll try to work to hopefully get some answers. And again, the harassment thing is definitely a no-no. They cannot engage in any kind of harassment. That is totally illegal.
Yes.
And in fact, if they do that, it makes it difficult for the property then to be completely transferred, because all of those acts of harassment have to be investigated, documented by, you know, HPD in the city.
Yes. And I said, I have all the video, all the photos of them smashing up my stuff or harassing me. Like I said, the blind man was assaulted and pushed down, and they refused to make an arrest on his behalf. There's so much that goes on, and we sent all the videos over, showed it to the police, and they just didn't do anything. They don't want to do anything.
Yeah. Well, again, make sure all of that's documented with HPD, because that becomes attached to the building's title, and then you can't resolve title until those anti-harassment situations are resolved.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Venita Bristol, did I say that correctly?
Verdina.
Verdina, hi, good evening.
Hi. Good evening.
Welcome.
Welcome. I have a question. My husband is incarcerated right now in Auburn Correctional Facility. And on Tuesday, he works in the mess hall. An inmate got hurt, and there was a lot of blood everywhere. So it was 7 of them, but my husband was in this 7. They told him to get up against the wall. And the other officers vouched and said that he didn't have anything to do with the assault on the inmate, and his cameras in the mess hall. But anyway, they wound up putting him in the box. Then yesterday he got out of the box, but his cell was, they did a cell search while he wasn't in there. Then they came back, and this one officer, Officer Phoebe, sent another officer, Officer Perkins, in to do a cell search. And in that process, they messed up his cell. They stole some Black & Mild cigars. They took all his personal property. They just scattered it all over. They bent his sneakers. They just did things recklessly. And my husband is an asthmatic, and he has high blood pressure and a stomach issue. They're denying him medical. And then again, today, he had another cell search. So it's like a lot of cell searches when he didn't do anything. And he filed a grievance against the medical because they're denying him medical. So we're feeling that, being that he also spoke to OSI, because the inmate that got beat up, he passed away. So OSI was there, the state troopers, everybody was there. So they are feeling that they're being harassed. Well, my husband is being harassed in what is the word I'm looking for?
Scapegoated?
Retaliated against, because he spoke to OSI, and he explained that he has an open case because he was assaulted, and he was sexually assaulted and jumped by the police in Comstock. So he has an open case right now, so he couldn't really talk. And plus, he didn't see anything. He didn't see who jumped this inmate. So it's just a lot going on right now within Auburn, and it's just crazy.
Okay. Again, you should, if you can, get the booking case number to here at the National Action Network, because we do have a Syracuse chapter, and it's a strong chapter, and maybe we can have some of our folks in the Syracuse chapter check it out, because that's Auburn is, right there outside of Syracuse. So we can check that out. You should also probably reach out, to the social worker. You could probably do that. Are you his legal spouse? I mean, are you
Yes.
on his visiting records in the whole 9 yards?
Yes, we are married. We're legally
Yeah,
married. I
yeah.
have power of attorney, and I'm on his HIPAA form.
Right. So you should be able to reach out to the, social workers at the institution to file that complaint, and also ensure that they're looking independently into his health and well-being.
I called mental health several times, and they keep telling me they're going to get back to me, and nobody hasn't got back to me yet.
Right. Okay. Well, be persistent. Again, you're dealing with the correctional facility and state government, so sometimes everything's got to go through their own procedure. But certainly reach out here again, and then just let them know that you were with us here on Legal Night, and you need to get connected to our Syracuse chapter so that they can try to help you, at least begin to understand what the facility is doing and responding. And the facility, they have obligations under the law to address these things. And your husband, is certainly covered by, the procedures that exist inside the prison with regard to these types of situations, and certainly where the social workers there can intervene.
And Michael, I just wanted to say, I put in the chapter president of Syracuse is Twiggy Ballou. I put her email, syracusenan@gmail.com in the chat. And we also have Victor Pate. I'm going to put that in as well. Second Chance Committee.
Yeah, Victor, yes, our Second Chance Committee should be involved in that. And, also in Syracuse, sometimes with age, you can't call a name, but our original president up there also is very influential in the Syracuse area. So certainly connect with the chapter, and let's see if they can help you get the answers that you need.
It's not so much of the answers. I need help, because I need to get my husband out of Auburn.
Okay, well, again,
Like
a lot of
at
that's
the end
gonna.
of the day, they're not caring about his.
No, I understand, but
alcohol, and
then that
he's
means
not
that you
getting the
have
proper
to-
medication. And,
right. So the institution has to be made to be responsive, and that's what I mean by making them, hear what you're saying, and to be and to act appropriately to protect your husband and ensure, his rights and care that he's entitled to as an incarcerated person.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right.
Mhm.
So, and Derek put the information for the Syracuse chapter president. So make sure you reach out, and you can always reach back to us if none of that helps in the way that you need it to. Just keep us posted.
And also put Second Chance Committee Victor Pate contact information in, and mine is there as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Next up is we have K51. That's all we have. K51. Okay. Okay. Well, that's fine. The Black Mother, are you going to let us know what the situation is, or?
Yes. Hi. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Uh, so I didn't provide my name because, um,
No, that's okay. You're not required. You don't have to give us your name.
okay. So obviously I'm a Black mother and I have an infant boy who was born premature. And he's been in the NICU in NY at one of the big hospital in NY. I don't want to say the name. In Manhattan since December. So he had to have 2 surgeries done. That's what we were told. He needed 2 surgeries. So one of the surgeries is a heart surgery. The other surgery went well, but the heart surgery did not. Because the heart surgery didn't go well, he had to have a second heart surgery to correct the first one. Still, the second heart surgery, the heart issue was fixed, but it messes up his breathing issue, his breathing. So now he has a breathing issue. In addition to that, while at this hospital, he caught all type of infection, had collapsed lungs, and also he ended up with something called vocal cord paralysis. And the vocal cord paralysis came about either, well, I don't want to say deliberately that did it, but I don't know, but something happened and he ended up with a vocal cord paralysis and he was not born with that. Because of the vocal cord paralysis, he was not able to be breastfed, not able to be bottle fed, and later on, he's always going to have problem with eating or chewing large piece of food. So in addition to that, he had to get a G tube, which is like a feeding tube, put in, which is like a third surgery we did not anticipate in order for him to be fed. So now, throughout this whole process, this whole journey, I'm his mother. I took 4 months off from work. Some were paid and some were not. Some were paid and some were unpaid leaves to care for him. I'm from out of state. I'm not from New York City. And so I always showed up. This was like my job. I was there every day. Most of the days I slept in a hospital on a chair, take baths in the bathroom. I never left. So I paid a lot of attention. I learned the system in there and I learned the structure and I saw what was happening. They didn't like that. So they made it very uncomfortable for me they made it uncomfortable that I was advocating for my son and they came after me hard. So the week of the 24th, I was constantly being harassed. Every week it was something different. Either they were making up stories, or there was one time they set me up and they said I did something, but it came out that it wasn't true. So, but that rumor just followed me for months. But anyway, the week of the 24th of June, one of the director there, she's chasing me down the hallway. I mean, just complete harassment, blocking the doorway as I was going to the bathroom, asking me to speak and bullying me into meetings that they didn't tell me about. So I called the police and I asked to file an harassment complaint against this woman. So a couple of days later, Monday to June 28th, I walked in my son's room and they made up this lie, stated I did something to him, and they called security. Security came and told me to leave. I said, well, I'm not leaving. For what purpose? What did I do? So I said, I'm gonna call the police. I called the police. Before the police can get to where I was, they told the police I was crazy. I don't know what else they told the police. So by the time I went outside to meet with the police, they obviously sided with the hospital. They were not there to help me. They had their hands on their gun, on their hips. I expressed to them what happened, which was what I had witnessed, what I had when I walked in the room. I witnessed like a malpractice in regards to the nurse. So that's how they set it up, and then they say I did it. So I told the police, I was explaining to the police, this is what happened, what I witnessed. Are you going to make an arrest? I need to file a complaint. They said, nope. The hospital don't want you to be in there. It's a private entity. It's private property. You cannot go back in there. If I were you, I would not go back in there. And then they pointed to a truck and they said, you see this truck over there? It's the psychiatric truck. I had asked them if I could tape this conversation, so I did. They allowed me to. And then they just got in the car and left. So at that point, just hopeless. And because I had tried everything, I had called everybody, everyone, trying to get some help and send emails, and there was just no way of them stopping them from harassing me. So I was crying, and made some noise outside as I'm walking to my, by myself, going to their emergency room because my blood pressure was so high. I wanted to get it checked. And they heard me crying. They called the police again, the same group of police. I didn't even see them coming. I didn't even know which direction they came from. All I felt was handcuffs on my wrist, and I was on the ground. They jumped me. They had their knees on my back. I had to scream, I can't breathe, for them to kind of like ease up on my back. And then, they said things like, you better shut up before we punch you in your face. I didn't know what had happened, who was jumping me. So they threw me into the psychiatric ward. I'm in the emergency psychiatric ward for 4 days because they couldn't get my blood pressure under control. No bath, no food. Then they said, you need to voluntarily or involuntarily admit yourself into the psychiatric ward. So one psychiatrist advised me to voluntarily admit myself. Also, the mental health attorney that's assigned to that specific hospital advised me to voluntarily admit myself, and that they will let me out in 3 days after evaluation. I did that, went to the psych ward. The next day, the psychiatrist at the psych ward told me that they were changing my voluntary status to involuntary. So they pressured me to take antipsychotic medication, Risperdal, and everyone told me that's the only way I was going to get out of there fast. Anyway, on the third day, they're supposed to let me out after 72 hours. They did not. I had to wait a whole week for a mental health hearing. And that hearing was basically a mob lynch. The actual mental health attorney was asking me questions that the hospital lawyer should have asked me. He was just basically handing me over. I couldn't believe it. The psychiatrist was lying, and he made up all these diagnoses. And finally, he said I had unspecified psychosis. To make a long story short, I spent 2 weeks in there. I had to basically fight my way out. Not physically fight, but did things to get myself out. So I'm out, and I have a mental health record now. In addition to that, they call ACS, and ACS limit my visitation rights to my child. And because of the fear of the hospital possibly getting myself or my husband arrested, we have not been comfortable or have not visited our child. My child never been away from me since he was born. And so it's hard on him. It's very hard on him. He looks for me when he sees me. They allow me to do Zoom. When he's on Zoom, he's making gesture like come here gestures or bye-bye, or you could see he gets frustrated. He's pulling on his breathing device. And as for myself, I'm in and out of either sadness, crying, depressed, but also making some moves to also help myself. They assign us free attorneys, or I haven't signed anything because I wasn't too sure if I should. I wanted to get some legal advice first. We asked for our child to be transferred to our state. They sabotaged that transfer because they want the child to go to a specific hospital here in our state. And research. So they could do research on our child. That specific hospital was the first hospital my child was admitted at. And we ran from them because they wanted to crack open his chest to do surgery that they know he would not have survived. So now the big move is they pressuring us. Well, I don't have any rights to make medical decisions because ACS took that away. But they pressured my husband to move our child to this specific hospital so that they can continue to do what they want to do. I've called every organization, every malpractice lawyer, attorneys, family law attorneys. I filed complaints with the Department of Health. Police didn't help us. So far, I haven't signed anything with the attorney that was assigned to me by court. And so far we don't have good legal representation. And I didn't know that this whole thing was going on. I was just on a Zoom with 3 other families, which I invited them to come and collaborate my story because their story is similar, but I don't think they got through. And so it's this big thing now where the children are being snatched. Black children in particular are being snatched, thrown into foster homes. And I think there's a name for it. It's called medical kidnapping. And that's what's happening to my son. That's what it seems like. So if you go to this big hospital, the other hospital in our state, they're never letting him out. They're powerful, and there's nobody to oversee these hospitals. And they basically could do whatever they want.
Okay, what's the condition of your son now?
But he's not able to breathe on his own. Although he was born, he was able to breathe on his own, but after the surgery, he's not able to breathe without a breathing tube.
Okay, and how many weeks is he, your son?
He's 7 months.
7 months.
He's a big boy now, and he should not be in the NICU. So this hospital that they're pushing for PICU, and we didn't like that hospital. We were there when he was first born because they sedate the children. So that's where they're pushing. Our hands are tied. There's no other hospitals. Anytime we ask for a second opinion from one hospital, to go from one hospital to the next, they do not want to release the child. Anytime you ask a doctor to get a second opinion, then it's get ready for a lot of drama to happen because they don't want to let the child go.
Okay. And have you been able to meet with the lawyers that you said that were assigned to you or provided?
I have. Again, I haven't signed anything like consents or I haven't signed paperwork that she sent me to say that she is definitely my lawyer, because I wanted to make sure I get some legal advice first, because I
You
don't
want to
believe
make sure of what?
not aggressive enough. I don't think she needs to be a little bit more intense to deal with this issue, because it's so big. But I feel like she was just more, I don't know, I didn't get a good feel for her just yet.
Right.
What state did this happen in, if I can ask?
This is New York.
Everything was New York?
Yes.
Because you mentioned your state. Okay, if you don't mind me asking, what hospital was this?
Can I mention the hospital? They're like really big.
You can mention the hospital. Yeah, I don't want you to mention any doctors' names or any nurses' names, but just the hospital itself.
This is Presbyterian Hospital.
Okay, it's a private hospital. It's not a city hospital, not any of the New York City Health and Hospitals Corporation. Columbia Presbyterian
Yes.
or New York Presbyterian, Cornell.
It's Columbia Presbyterian.
All right, 168th. What was your son in the same hospital all along?
No, we transfer him from the hospital, from that big hospital I was telling you about, from our state. We transfer him from there.
What state was that?
Oh my goodness.
Big pardon?
Is should I give all this information? Then everything.
I want to know if I can try to help you. So you have a lot of issues over here. You have potential medical malpractice. You have potential police liability case. Were you arrested at all?
No, they just.
Okay, all right. Your potential ACS cases. Where was the surgery done? Was the surgery done in New York or a different state?
No, it was done here.
In New York. All right. He was born in New York, in Columbia Presbyterian?
No, he was born in our state, different state.
A different state. But he was taken to New York where the surgery was done. Is that correct?
Correct.
All the surgery was done in Columbia?
Yes.
All right. And he's still in Columbia now?
Yes.
All right.
They won't release his records.
Yeah, okay. Look, let me ask you if you're interested, because I really don't want to ask you a lot of questions here. It's personal, private. If you'd like, you can give me a call. I'm more than happy to speak with you. I handle medical malpractice cases. There are a lot of issues that have to be dealt with. They're not easy cases. There's a lot of investigation which needs to be done. I'm happy to talk to you. If you want, you can give me a call tomorrow or Monday if you'd like.
Thank
I'll
you.
give you my name and number, and we can take it from there if you'd like.
Okay, thank you so much. What about the mental health case?
I can discuss that with you as well. I can discuss that with you as well. They all seem to, my understanding is they all seem to relate from the same incident that you perhaps being upset, maybe getting the runaround, and everything sort of relating to the same situation. I can discuss that with you if you'd like. Okay.
Thank you so much.
My name is Joel. If you got a pen, you can write this down. I think it may have been given in the chat, or maybe I'll try to figure out how to put it in myself. I don't know if I can do this, but my name is Joel Schmelkin. I can do this now. I'll edit. Okay, I think I can do this now.
It's Joe, and then can you please spell your last name?
SCHMELKIN. And my telephone is 212-227-8865. I think I did it. I think I mentioned it.
212-227-8865, and it's
Joel Schmelkin, right?
Right.
Okay.
And I think we just put it in the chat room
I see.
also.
But you're right. I think I tried to do it myself, but sometimes I'm not that
All
good
right.
at these things. All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank
luck to
you.
You home tomorrow? You gotta work tomorrow?
You can call me anytime you like. You could just mention that you spoke with me on the Zoom.
So when you finish, you can call me so I could come, so you can help me.
So you can give me a call.
Call me.
Give me a
Hello?
call first. Okay. Hello.
I'm on this. I'm on the
All right. Somebody is talking. You should probably mute because we can hear your conversation. All right. Well, that was the last question that we had. And again, I know that we have some of our colleagues that are with us. So just want to have them say a very quick hello as we wind out. Pete Gleason, you want to say hello?
Hello to everybody. Pleasure to be here. Great meeting tonight. I hope it was helpful to all in attendance. And thank you for the very insightful overview of eminent domain, Jeff.
You're welcome, Pete.
All right. And Carmen Jack Giordano, you want to say hello?
Thanks. Yep. Thanks, Michael. Great presentation, Jeff, and interesting questions this evening. Thank you so much.
All right. And we do have, the National Action Network is run by a board of directors. The chairman of our board is Dr. W. Franklin Richardson, but we have one of our board members with us tonight. She's basically my boss because she's a board member, Dawn Jones. You want to bring any greetings?
Yes, thank you, Attorney Hardy, and I want to thank you for holding this forum and for the information on eminent domain, reparations, ranked choice voting. And on this Saturday, the committee that I chair, National Action Network Political Action Committee, we're going to do our 5th Saturday virtual voter education forum project series. It'll be from the comfort and safety of your own home. That's on Saturday, July 31st, 2021 at 12:30 p.m. The program begins. And we're going to have a continued discussion with community leadership on also eminent domain and a debriefing of ranked choice voting. So if you need further information, you can contact NANPAC at 212-690-3070. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. And Mr. Mayor, Brother Rodney Jones, you want to give us a shout out at all? All right. There you go. He's our chief. All right, everyone. So we want to thank you. We're actually wrapping up right on time. Don't forget.
Can you hear us?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Well, I've been waiting to speak to attorney. I didn't know whether you had me in the queue or not, but I've been listening to you speaking, so I was waiting to get my turn. So
okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Well, go ahead, Mr. Seabrooks, is that it?
Yes. Oh,
yes,
now,
sir.
My case is a case like this. I was down in Virginia, and I was in a truck accident in 2018. And a container come off another guy's trailer and flew into the side of my rental truck. Flipped me over, cut a hole in there about 18 feet. And we got a turn. I spoke to my lawyer in New York. He was going to take the case, but he wasn't allowed to take the case in Virginia. So they got me a lawyer down there. So after getting a lawyer down there, he took the case. But come to find out, this lawyer, he working for the other side. He working for the complainer. The guy that was driving the tractor trailer, he working for them, and it worked for me at the same time. And he told me that my evidence won't come into court. Now I'm speaking like this because I'm only telling you the stuff that he had written to me in this language that he speak to me. He told me he had 2 credible white guys, and they word is very credible. So they're not going to listen to anything anybody say about me. He said, that state is happening in Virginia, a little place where you call Rockingham, Virginia. And he said it's a very conservative state. And he said they wasn't going to hear me at all. They wasn't going to allow my case to come into court. In other words, that container come off that trailer and hit me and flew into my truck. He said it never happened. He said, I'm making up things. Now, after it happened, the guys would follow me in the truck behind me, my guys. They jumped out, they were taking pictures, all kind of pictures. We got all the pictures needed to make this case come to court and the judge will rule in the favor. But he said he wasn't going to let it come into court. He said, but the white guys, they're going to bring in the court because they heard about it. And this is what he told me. So case going to be coming up pretty soon. He's trying to get me to take a settlement. I can't trust this attorney. So I don't know what to do with a case like this. I mean, right now, I guess caught between a rock and a hard place. Because no attorney want to come against this attorney.
Okay. And this is happening in Virginia. That's where the case is going on.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mrs. Seabrooks, again, sorry that your name didn't come to us in terms of you wanting to speak. But since we're wrapping up, just give me a call tomorrow morning, anytime after 9:30. You just call the number here, 212.
Okay, I'll write that down. It's 212
690
690
3070.
3070.
Right. And whoever answers the phone, a number of people may answer, but just let them know that you are on legal night tonight and that I asked you to give me a call and they will connect you to me. Okay.
Yes, your name now?
Is Michael Hardy.
Michael Hardy?
Yes.
Michael Hardy. Thanks very much. Thanks for listening
All
to me.
right.
I thought my name was in the queue because I see it up there.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll check into that, but again, we will definitely follow up tomorrow, Mr. Seabrook.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much.
All right.
Harden, H-A-R-D-E-N?
H-A-R-D-Y.
H-R-D-Y.
Oh, Hardy. Got you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. We'll definitely give you a call tomorrow.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thanks
Thank you.
again.
And
Have
thank
a
you for
blessed
being
night.
with us.
Okay, thanks. Thanks very much.
All right.
Have a blessed
I've been
night,
waiting. I've been waiting to speak too. I had a
Okay.
question.
All right.
Can I?
Okay. Yes. Is that Miss McNeil? Who's?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. Go ahead, Ms. McNeil.
Okay. My question is, I want a visitation for my mother. She's staying in her oldest grandson's house. I have not seen my mother since December of 2020.
She in a nursing home?
No, she's in his house. And the law says he does not have to let us in. I'm her only daughter. And the only one that she sees is him, his wife, and his 2 kids. I have given, in the beginning, he sent out a text to us stating that we had to produce a COVID results test. Okay. And I'm not going into details, but anyway, that happened. I submitted, I actually had wound up with the COVID, I'm gonna say that. And while I was under, someone had swabbed me so, took the Q-tip, swabbed so deep until a membrane was damaged in my nose. So after the fact, I had to have surgery, and he knows all of this. And so I kept telling him, I cannot do the swabbing anymore.
Right.
Okay, so I submitted finally gave him my COVID test, and he said it was too old. I gave him the antibodies test. He wouldn't accept that. Finally, I took I had the vaccine. And then that's when he texted me and saying, under no circumstances.
Now, let me just ask, the person that's telling you this, who is he?
He's my nephew. He's my mother's grandson.
Oh,
And
okay.
when I speak to her on the phone, like I have done everything. I've called
he's your nephew.
service. Yes, I've called protective services, everything. And I said that it's mentally psychological abuse.
All right.
I'm not
so
saying
Ms. McNeil, let me do this. And I'm going to ask a huge favor of Attorney Emden. Can you take time and speak with her tomorrow, Attorney Emden?
Definitely. Could you please spell her name?
My name is Jeff Emden, E-M-D-I-N.
Say that again.
Jeff Emden,
Jeff.
E-M-D-I-N.
Jeff.
Hold on, I'm gonna put it on the
And,
chat. Hold on.
hello?
Ready?
Oh,
I'm
wow.
Yeah, he's
Hold
putting
on,
it
hold
in the
on,
chat room, but yes, it is JEFF.
wait a second. My, hold on. Hello?
Yep, we're here.
Okay. Jeff, spell your last name?
It's E-M as in Mary, D-I-N,
D-I-N. Uh-huh.
and it's
Emden.
right.
Okay.
2-1. It's
212.
212
Uh-huh.
265
265
1350.
1350.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
I
Jeff
put it in
Emden.
the chat that link so you could see that too.
Okay. When can I call you? What time?
Let me look. Why don't you try calling me tomorrow at around 10:30?
All right, will do.
Okay.
All
Look
right.
forward to speaking to you then. Bye-bye.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Attorney Emden. So
You're
once again, everybody, as we wrap up, we just want to remind you very quickly again that we're here every Saturday beginning at 9 a.m. for our Saturday Action Rally. We want you and everyone you know to sign up to join us for our March On for Voting Rights, August 28th. You can do so by going online at nationalactionnetwork.net, or you can call 877-626-4651 in order to register. And you can also just plug in, check the website. So much going on, so many ways that you can get updated for things that you need to be aware of. So God bless you. Thank everyone. Let's give a big hand to the attorneys that joined us and gave us their time tonight. We're so thankful for all of our attorneys. We wish everyone a happy August because we take our break, and we will be back. It will be the last Thursday of the month of September. If it's the last Thursday of the month, it is legal night here at National Action Network. And in September, that is September 30th, which is also the last day of September. So we will see you again. Enjoy the month of August, everyone. For those of you that need us at any time, we're always here. And so you can always reach out, 877-626-4651. We're not going on break, but Legal Night is giving some breaks to everyone that makes this happen. And we'll be back again with you the last Thursday in September. God bless you and good night.